The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Reclining at table with his disciples, Jesus was deeply troubled and testified, "Amen, amen, I say to you, one of you will betray me." The disciples looked at one another at a loss as to whom he meant. One of his disciples, the one whom Jesus loved, was reclining at Jesus' side. So Simon Peter nodded to him to find out whom he meant. He leaned back against Jesus' chest and said to him, "Master, who is it?" Jesus answered, "It is the one to whom I hand the morsel after I have dipped it." So he dipped the morsel and took it and handed it to Judas, son of Simon the Iscariot. After Judas took the morsel, Satan entered him. So Jesus said to him, "What you are going to do, do quickly." Now none of those reclining at table realized why he had said this to him. Some thought that since Judas kept the money bag, Jesus had told him, "Buy what we need for the feast, or to give something to the poor." So Judas took the morsel and left at once. And it was night. When he had left, Jesus said, "Now is the Son of Man glorified, and God is glorified in him. If God is glorified in him, God will also glorify him in himself, and he will glorify him at once. My children, I will be with you only a little while longer. You will look for me, and as I told the Jews, where I go you cannot come, so now I say to you." Simon Peter said to him, "Master, where are you going?" Jesus answered him, "Where I am going, you cannot follow me now, though you will follow later." Peter said to him, "Master, why can I not follow you now? I will lay down my life for you." Jesus answered, "Will you lay down your life for me? Amen, amen, I say to you, the cock will not crow before you deny me 3 times. The Gospel of the Lord. So today is Tuesday of Holy Week, and most of us are pretty familiar with what happened on Palm Sunday and what happened on Holy Thursday and Good Friday, right? But what happened in between? What happened on the Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday of Holy Week? Traditionally, we understand that on Monday and Tuesday, Jesus did a couple of things. First of all, he cleansed the temple when he came into Jerusalem. He cast out the money changers. And then also, he had the famous episode of the cursing of the fig tree. And on Wednesday, we're not going to talk so much about what Jesus did, but about what happened to Jesus on Wednesday of Holy Week, traditionally called Spy Wednesday. So I thought we would talk a little bit this morning about some of those episodes from Monday and Tuesday. One of the perplexing episodes from the Gospel in Jesus' ministry during his last week on earth was the cursing of the fig tree. The cursing of the fig tree, right? Again, it's important for us to remember that in Jesus' last week on earth, his whole life was intentional, but especially his last week. Everything had a purpose. And I remember I used to read the story of the fig tree and think, man, what is the deal with the cursing of the fig tree? In the Gospel of Mark, it says that Jesus is walking by the fig tree, and he finds that there is no fruit on the fig tree. And the Gospel of Mark, the narrator explains, he says it wasn't the season for figs. And Jesus goes to the fig tree, he looks for figs on it, and he doesn't find any, because it's not the season for figs. And he says, "May no one ever eat fruit of you again." And the fig tree withers. It's kind of strange, right? Jesus is taking out his frustration and anger on the fig tree. What did the fig tree ever do to Jesus, right? It's kind of a perplexing story. What was the reason why Jesus cursed the fig tree? There's a couple of ideas. First one, which is more provable, and the second one, which is perhaps a hypothesis, all right, that I want to present to you. Why did Jesus curse the fig tree? In order to understand why he cursed the fig tree, we have to understand the significance of fig trees in salvation history. Do you remember any times in the Bible that a fig tree appeared? Particularly in the Old Testament? The fig tree is read about in the book of Genesis in an implicit way. When Adam and Eve were tempted by the serpent, it says they ate the fruit of the tree. What kind of a tree was it? Some of us, we think of an apple tree or something like that. But remember, when Adam and Eve, when they ate the fruit of the tree, shortly afterward, they clothed themselves with what? With fig leaves. Fig leaves. So all of the ancient Jewish commentators, when they read the story of Adam and Eve, they just presumed that the tree they ate the fruit from was a fig tree. Right? So the fig tree, in a certain sense, becomes a symbol for the fall of mankind. So by Jesus cursing the fig tree, he's cursing sin, and he's putting an end to the destruction caused partly by the fig tree in the beginning. That's why even though it's not the season for figs, Jesus still is upset or angry with the fig tree. It's symbolic. Now, that's the more foundational hypothesis, but I want to propose something even more. If you go to Jerusalem, if you ever go to the Holy Land, someday we'll go as a parish once the pandemic is over, hopefully. One of the things you see when you go to Calvary, the church where it celebrates the crucifixion of Jesus, below Calvary, you go down about 20 feet, and there's a little chapel underneath Mount Calvary. And that chapel is called the Chapel of Adam, as in Adam and Eve. It's a very ancient tradition, which is not ever taught by the church, right? This isn't authoritative teaching, but it's a very long tradition that Jerusalem, the city where Jesus was wandering, the city in which Jesus cursed the fig tree, was the very same city where the Garden of Eden originally was. So Jesus, in the same city, around where the Garden of Eden was, finds another fig tree and curses it and says, "May no one ever eat of your fruit again." It's all symbolic of the fact that Jesus has come as a new Adam to reverse all of the destruction that Adam caused in the beginning by his disobedience. I think that's why Jesus went out of his way to curse the fig tree. So tomorrow we're going to talk about Wednesday. Traditionally, Holy Week is called Spy Wednesday. We're going to talk about the significance of that tomorrow.